All right. So now we're going to talk about different types of goods that we haven't talked about yet. Um, so these are going to be private and public goods. So we we as economists differentiate between these two types of goods based on two characteristics. So whether or not the goods are excludable, which basically means if they are excludable, if a good or service is excludable, it's possible to prevent consumers who have not paid for it from accessing. Okay, so this is most goods that we experience. Most goods we experience are excludable, right? So you can't have the pair of shoes in the window unless you pay for them. I mean, you could steal them, but we're talking about legal legal consumption. Not we're kind of ignoring illegal consumption, I guess. But a pair of shoes, a burger from a restaurant, right? All these things are excludable because you can be prevented from having them if you don't pay for them. So that's what excludable is. Rival, on the other hand, means that consumption can only be enjoyed by one person at a time. Okay, so again, most things that we experience, that we consume in life, are also rival. If you buy a pair of shoes, only one person, yourself, can wear them at a time, right? So one person can wear the shoes at a time. If somebody else wants to wear the shoes, you cannot wear the shoes at the same time, right? Same thing with like a burger from a restaurant. If you eat a burger from the restaurant, it means that somebody else cannot eat it. Okay, so that's what rival means. So private goods have both of these characteristics, and that's why, for the most part, everything we experience, most of what we experience, not everything, most of what we experience are private goods, right? Things like burgers, right? Both excludable and rival in consumption. So you can be prevented from having that burger if you don't pay for it, and if you eat that burger, nobody else can eat that burger. Right. So again, these are most things that we purchase. So what are public goods then? Well, public goods can be consumed by many, so they're not rival, they're non-rival, right? So like a public park, for example. You can go into the park and enjoy the park, consume the park, but it doesn't mean that others cannot, right? If you are enjoying the park, others at the same time can enjoy the park. So it's non-rival. And it's also difficult or impossible to exclude those that don't pay from consuming it, right? So if you didn't pay your taxes, it means that you didn't contribute to the park, the public park, but nevertheless, you cannot be prevented from using it. Okay, so it's also non-excludable, which leads to this problem called the free rider problem. And maybe you've heard this before, the free rider problem. It's when someone has the ability to receive the benefit of a good without paying for it, right? So free rider or freeloader is another term for it. Okay, so public goods can lead to this problem. All right, so think about this. Here's a good question. Private or public good. The owner of this booth is asking people to pay to view the sunset. Now, what's the problem here? Hopefully you're thinking, well, how the heck is he going to exclude people from viewing the sunset? Not possible, right? So the sunset, of course, is a non-excludable good. It's not something you can prevent people from experiencing. So this, of course, is a public good. Of course, it won't work. No. I think we just went over why it won't work. All right, let's get some practice with these ideas, with these concepts. Which of the following is an example of a public good, something that is both non-rival and non-exclusive? Take a minute, pause the video, and come back when you have an answer. Okay, so hopefully you realize that the correct answer is A, right? A free outdoor Christmas light display. Something that cannot be exclusive, and it's also non-rival, right? If you're looking at the Christmas lights, it doesn't mean that somebody else can't, right? Many people can enjoy the Christmas lights at one time. So it's both non-rival and non-exclusive or non-excludable. Whereas these others are definitely private goods, right? College football game, you can definitely be excluded from that. Although the college football game is not rival, it is excludable, but it's not rival. So that's interesting. We're going to talk about what kind of good that is. It's one we haven't talked about yet. A parking spot with a parking meter. So that is both excludable, right? You can be excluded from it if you don't pay the parking meter. And it's also rival because if you're parking there, no one else can park there. So that's definitely a private good. A college education. Okay, so this is another one that's excludable but non-rival. So just because you are consuming the education right now through this video doesn't mean that other people cannot. So this is also this is similar to the college football game.